Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here in Zurich at the Zurich Invest offices, and with me now is Integra Resources, Steve de Jong, who is the chairman. And honestly, it's not Integra Gold because, as you know, they were sold. Steve, great meeting you. Hi.
Yeah, you as well.
Integra Resources, so almost the same name, but new company. What's up there?
Yeah, so we kept the name to a certain extent. It's a completely separate company from Integra Gold. So Integra Gold was something that we ran from 2012 to 2017. It was acquired by Eldorado for $590 million in 2017, which was sort of, we experienced a lot of growth in sort of that 10 to 590 million run. When we started Integra Resources, it was only a few months after the acquisition. We decided we'll start a new company, but we'd like to keep the name. So Integra Resources, we bought an asset from Kinross in Idaho.
In Idaho, in the
Idaho.
US, lovely
the
US.
fourth best mining jurisdiction in North America.
Okay, fantastic. So what's the asset about?
So it's an old mine, and it's sort of it had two lives. The first was actually in when the old timers operated. It was late 1800s to about 1910, and it was a high grade underground gold and silver mine in Idaho, and it shut down in 1910, and it stayed shut down until the 1970s when a company called Nurco, which would eventually be acquired by Kinross, would run that as an open pit operation from the late 70s until 1998. So it's had both its high grade underground life and its lower grade open pit operation in the 70s, 80s, and 90s as well. And then Kinross shut it down in 1998. And obviously 98 gold prices, $300 an ounce. They were trading dollars, didn't make a lot of sense. Kinross grew a lot, and it was no longer an asset that was really sort of a big enough for Kinross. So it sat there for 20 years, and then we were able to acquire it from Kinross. Got a good deal, the whole thing, for about $12 million. And we're able to go, and right now kind of drills are turning for the first time in over 20 years.
Wow. And it's an old mine on that, right?
So there's two old mines, but for the last 20 years it was in operation. It was just strictly focused on the open pit resources. And once in a while the drill would go below the open pit, and it hit these high grade zones, but they were just at $300 an ounce gold. They were just trying to stay afloat. Yeah. So they never followed up. So we're going back now, and we're taking two approaches. We're both looking at that large open pit, and we're also drilling those high grade underground areas as well.
Wow, fantastic. So the objective is to bring like an underground mine again in production, right?
We don't actually know yet. So there's a resource there. There's a few million ounces that we've been able to tie together between this one and another deposit 5 kilometers away. Okay. The resource is all open pit. So right now we're drilling through that open pit resource into the underground. My gut tells me if and when it eventually goes into production, it'll probably be both. You have your lower grade open pit material, and then your high grade underground as well. So what that exactly looks like to be determined, but kind of in a gold price environment that's sitting $1,200–1,300 an ounce, no one's that sure what direction it's going to go. It's really nice to have a little bit of flexibility in your plan.
Absolutely, great. So you said the drills are turning. When can we expect the first good results?
So when can we expect the first good results? So for the first time in 20 years, the drills are turning, and we're going after two things. First, following up on some of these high grade hits that Kinross had historically that was never really followed up on because their mine plan was focused on just the near surface open pit material. And then we're also drilling for the source of this system. So there's a system that kind of, as it gets closer to the surface, it branches out till you get these little fingers, and that creates your open pit resource. But lower down in that system, there is a high grade there should be a high grade feeder system to that. So we're also drilling into that deeper section as well, and deeper being 300–400 meters deep, so not that deep in relation to the 2,000 meters that we were drilling back in Lamaque. We're going after both of those targets. Drills are turning now. We're going to add a second drill shortly, and then we're going to ramp that program up in the summer. And then drill results will just be they'll be ongoing as we continue. Yeah. So it's nice for our investors who are getting into it. It's a clean share structure with 55 million shares out. Between management, insiders, we're at about 15%. Kinross owns
15.
Kinross owns 10%. There's some big names, kind of well-known industry names in there as well. And it's nice to have some nice milestones with drill results and then an updated resource estimate towards the end of the year to give our investors all within a tight share structure. And also we have about $12 million in cash right now.
That would be my next question. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Super. And this is certainly enough money for this year, right?
It is. Yeah. Like any company with kind of we have enough to keep going, and we by no means have enough to make it kind of all the way through to production or for our next phase of exploration. But for ourselves, for our shareholders, one thing that we really work, it's so simple, but we really try to do at Integra Gold is every time you raise money, it just has to be at consistently higher and higher prices.
Absolutely.
We did our financing at 85 cents. We raised $30 million, $27 million in October. Trading now, sort of, it's been a tough market, but still trading about $1.05.
Nice.
And we'll just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, fantastic. Wow, that's really great. So you want to duplicate the success of Integra Gold?
Oh, we're gonna, yeah. We'll just do it all over again.
Money-wise.
Yeah, it was no. Integra Gold was a great success,
Yeah.
and I think part of going from that success we had at Integra Gold allowed us to get involved in this asset and work with a team like Kinross to come up with a deal that worked for everybody, and still just left a lot of money on the table for our shareholders. And we think that because of the deal that we did with Kinross. And because Kinross looking to associate themselves with a group that's dealt with reclamation liabilities of an old mine site and has had exploration success and permitting success, we think that within that, and because of the acquisition price only being $12 million, we're able to leave a lot for our shareholders as we continue to have success with the drill bit and work towards resource estimate. And hopefully kind of going forward, we're able to obviously finance this company at higher and higher prices.
Fantastic. Hey, that sounds great. Thanks. That was a first great insight into it. I'm pretty sure we'll hear much more from you guys.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Steve de Jong by coincidence here from Integra Resources. This interview was not planned, honestly, but I'm really happy that he is here because Integra Gold was such a big success. You remember, like he said, from $10 million to $590 million sold then. I think that's really making money for shareholders, and probably they want to duplicate that here. Hopefully they do it, and I'm pretty sure because they are able to do it, honestly, because they have done that in the past. And the big names are involved, like Kinross. The management has 15%, which always speaks for itself, because then the management has skin in the game. So check it out. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Zurich.